Welcome. So you catch me in the middle of things, which is fine. First stream and all. Um, but I'm building an application for ham radio, yay, that replaces basically a logbook. And the idea is that during a meeting of ham radio people, we basically have a stand-up kind of thing where you have to collect check-ins, check them in. A net controller does this, the person in charge. Um, and then recognize the person as heard. There's basically meeting rules, and they're all there. Now, implementing this in software, a event stream seemed like a good fit, so I'm gonna give that a shot. I already have a basic, I have a rudimentary one implemented just to see if it would work at all. It did, and now I'm implementing a faster one that ideally is more robust. Um, so we're gonna go test driven, hopefully, and we'll see how it goes. Um, I have a bunch of test harness stuff set up. I can take you through that real quick, and then we can get right into it and fix the broken test that I've got. So I have a test harness here on the left. It's my test harness. On the top right are my events, and the bottom right is the implementation. We'll hide that for now. Um, so we can see, okay, there we go. Basic test suite is just a map of some sort of description with an input, the events, and the expected output. And how we're mutating things. So we start with the net session. I'll explain all this later. Um, we've received one check-in. It's routine. It already has been verified and act, and it is valid. Again, we'll explain what those are in a little bit. Then we receive two events. Just because it's easier sometimes to test these things at once. I want to test the entire behavior in one shot in this case because it's not that hard. Where we receive a check-in for a new check-in heard against this one that's already there, and receive a check-in heard for one that we've never seen before, which is check-in 456 for call sign 2. It's different kind, different traffic. The numbers mean nothing. I just making sure they're different just to ensure they're different. Then we're going to apply the event stream, and we expect that this situation to occur. We want to make sure we have the second call sign here. Now, this isn't really completely written, so that's fine. And now if I can run this test, I'll let you see the code completely. And it failed. Why? Um, verified is still true. Valid is still true. I got the wrong kind, and the traffic is also wrong. And why is it like that? Well, here, okay, so let's fix this, the easy ones first. Okay, so that's fixed there. The traffic is 1, but it should be 3. Okay, that should handle that guy. And this one is not verifying, and it's not swapping verified and valid. So the basic idea is that you can hear, it's over the radio, so we'll just run this while I talk about that. So it's over the radio, and you're going to hear things wrong. It's just par for the course. So every time that you hear something, I want to make it so that it validates it against a licensed database so you can check, hey, is the call sign still right? Is the name still right? Is the, has any of those things changed? So it has to be marked as verified means the verification process has occurred, and valid means that the verification process not only occurred, but it came back without any errors. So this way the UI will eventually be able to understand the difference between something was verified, something was valid. Act means it was acknowledged. So just because you hear someone say, hey, it's me, call sign 2, uh, I want to do a welfare check, right? Someone says that, okay, cool, I got you checked in, but I haven't recognized your ability to speak. So in which case I want to have act as false. Um, right now there's only one act. You either act once or once and done. Um, we'll see how that goes in the future. Um, but we're not switching it back. So we started out as valid and verified with one here, and it's not swapping it. So when we hear it, we gotta, this is the implementation on the right. So we need to reset verified to false and valid to false. We'll save that. Let's rerun this test. And we passed. Cool. So that means that both, if the check-in is not in the session, we added it. That's correct. If the check-in is in the session, let's see. Oops. I like adding comments. Fantastic. So that looks like it worked. Cool. Now, now let's implement verified. So let's copy one of these guys. This is pretty big. And scrolling is slow when you stream. Not so far. Okay, we'll just copy this. Wow. Well, it's working. It's doing its thing. Okay. I think, do I need this? Okay, fantastic. Come on. There we go. And we can do this similarly. This we can leave alone. Check in 1, 2, 3. We want to start with initial state of false. I don't really care about the act right now. And this should start off false. And then let's add another one here, because I want to check both at once. Go ahead. This one should be, let's do 4, 5, 6. Very original. I know. Sign 2. 2. I don't really care about the traffic right now in this case, or the kind. I do care about these guys. So verified false. In this case, they're both to be verified and valid, and I don't care about traffic or the kind right now. I only care about these things. Cool. So then the events that I want to get here should be verified. So I want 2 verified events. And how does it verify? It has a call sign, a name. Okay. So it has an ID, call sign, a name. Let's leave that for now. We'll check in 4, 5, 6. Like I said, we don't care about the traffic. We don't care about the routine. Oh, that's fine. We're not gonna, um, I want to say that the location, I need to, it doesn't have that right now. I'm just gonna do this just to make it. Uh, yeah, let's make it different so we know some sort of sentinel value. Call sign to verified. And this one, you know what? We're also going to do this. In this sense, we don't have a name. We didn't hear the guy's name, which is fine. Okay. Setting these up. Okay. We don't have a name. So let's correct that right now. So now we have a location. Cool, 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 cool. Now, once we apply it, we want to see this guy. Again, we don't care about this. We don't care about this. We don't care about act. Verified should be true, and valid should be also true. In this case, we also, this is part of the model here. Um, you can see hearable has as heard and as licensed. So we want to say as licensed should be this, call sign one verified. This guy as licensed should be name one verified. This one as licensed should also be verified. And that came out fine. Now, let's see. We also have an error type. Okay. So I want to make it that this second one had some sort of error type. So let's do a ham db error not found, in which case none of these things would be there. That's fine. Let's do that. In other words, this is an invalid call sign. So now this guy has heard, he should not have any other information. We don't care about kind, traffic, or act. Verified should be true. Valid should be false. And we have to have something to capture the error to be able to pass it to the UI. But for now, let's see how bad we did. Okay. So we didn't get any licensing. We didn't get the location, obviously, or basically any of the thing as licensed didn't come through. And none of that validation stuff worked, which makes sense because we haven't implemented it yet. So let's go ahead and implement that. Oh, we should have been seeing the code, so I'm sorry. Yeah, didn't come through. So let's actually implement this now. So now when a check-in is verified, I'm going to need to make this smaller. Okay. I'm gonna have to pull the session out because I need to work with it. What's going on here? Okay. Now we got our session. Now we're going to go through all the check-ins that are available and um, let's see. If the check-in ID is our ID, we did verify it, right? Now, this is the part where we should. Okay. And then we can break out of this event machine. That's what I called it. No big deal. With a label. I know this is wrong. So verified is this. It's valid if and only if the error type, um, if there are no errors. But let's just run the test now because we can. Okay, we're closer. We're not copying the as licensed stuff over, but whether it's verified, it's working properly, whether but in case the second example, valid is incorrect because we're not handling the error types. Um, so let's get that going. Okay. I don't know if I'm gonna like this, but whatever, we'll see. Um, Session dot check-ins as licensed, name as licensed, format that. Okay, that's updating all that sort of stuff. And now let's get rid of this valid. Now, if the error type is nothing, then let's set the set. Let's make it valid. Now, cool. We're still eating the actual information that the front end's going to need in order to tell the user what's wrong. Um, okay. In the second one, as heard is nothing. Why did that not come through? Name as heard, and I got as heard is nothing. That's not good. And the second one, I don't have that information. And the second one, it looks like I lost the as heard. Why? I lost the as heard, but for the name only. Interesting. Okay. So let's see. I didn't hear anything, which is fine. But in the second example, aha, it's the test is wrong. Um, yeah, I didn't hear anything, so I expect to have this because it's invalid. Let's see how we did. Cool, that passed. Now, I don't want to just eat the error type here. I want it to actually have an error. Uh, how do I want to do that? So what I could also do is have valid be actually an error, in which case it's nil if there's no problems, and there is a problem. So let's try that. Let's see how that looks. It's going to complain slightly everywhere. Um, let's update this to nil. And then this is, let's just set this to nil for now. Nil for now. Valid. Update this to nil. And this last one, we're also going to update to nil. So now when we run this, aha, bool does not implement error, missing error. What? Did I not say something? 226. Aha, I have to fix the other ones too. Duh. Let's see, did that fix the test? I think I missed one. Okay. Session test 226. It would help if I fixed all of them in the test. What did I have it set as before? And I probably want to change it from valid to like validation error or something like that. Um, which is fine. Um, and now let's see. Let's go to 174 over here. Uh, I don't need to even set that. I'm setting these explicitly just to make it clear. Actually, let's leave that alone because now this is when the check-in is heard. I don't want to wipe away the fact that it isn't valid, had a verification error, and I can change that later. So let's see. Will the test pass this time? Cool, they passed. But what I really want now is that this when it didn't verify. Oop, this is the second time. Let's see, it verified, but now, how do I want to represent this? I want the actual error. Let's see how this looks for now. And come on, you can do it. I got a timeout? That's not cool. It's okay. We can do it manually. Okay, so now we have HamDB error not found. Okay. I wish there was a better way to do this. Um, because it's going to come through as a, is it going to come through as an error? Can I even encode it? I guess I can because I'm getting it back. Um, that's the question. I don't know. I don't think I can encode an error. No, I can't register an error, so that's the challenge. Um, in the event, I'm going to lose that. Error type is always going to be a string. So I'm going to have to make a new one of that somehow. Um, and that's fine. I could also just log that out. Um, let's do this. It's unfortunately has to be strings because gob can't encode an error. And we're using gob to when we store it to the database. Um, if it's hamdb, whoa. If it's this, then we'll do this. Come on, you can do it. That's fine. I'll do it manually. It would help if I actually did it right. And HamDB is just a client class that does the actual verification. Okay. So now let's try this again. Whoa. Cool. That's a new one. Never seen that before. Using cmpops.equate errors to compare error values. Okay. Um, so let's look up the documentation. Compare. Is it a variable? Nope. Equate errors. Um, cool. So let's look at that real quick. Pull this over. Options. Interface into a single option. It said equate errors. Hmm. Okay. Functions diff. cmpops.equate errors to compare. Is that a directory? It is. Equate errors. Okay, cool. Let's try it. Is it gonna have trouble with this? Oh, it timed out again. Ah, such is life. There, it did it. It did it that time. Cool. So let's try the test. I don't know if this is gonna work. Is it gonna work? Hey, it worked. Okay, so um we still have to handle some sort of default thing, in which case if this, we're gonna have to just do, and let's just change this to cool. And then we're also going to do this. Um, validation, and then let's see. And then I can do that with event dot name. Because an event, just in general, does have a name, and that name is supposed to be defined as like uh, the string form of this. So at least this way I can catch it. I can look for um, this. Let's make this a little more helpful. Unknown check-in validation. So at least I'll have it. So that if I'll have to figure out the best way to do this. And I probably should just add some sort of thing here. Like make this not errors.new and just capture as a variable, but that's fine. Um, so what that means though is that when I have an event, like in this case, error type, right? That means, unfortunately, that for every error type that I could have, I'll have to then instruct um, or teach or whatever term you want to use, add the it to this replay stuff to actually turn it into the correct error so that I can pass it along as I should. Which is fine for now. Um, but that looks like it should do the trick. I mean, that's this whole thing. Um, let's just update this note. Set the verified. If the verification has no errors, set the valid flag to nil. Verification. Cool. So that's another event handled, as far as I'm concerned. So next we have to do act and corrected. Um, but what I'm thinking is a correction is just going to be a check-in. Because if it, think about it, all the same stuff has to happen. It has to kick it back. Um, really, I heard it, so it should um, correct it. Yeah. And then I can have an unact, um, in which case, or dismissed or something. That all it's going to do is change the act flag. But for now, let's get this committed. Let's go review what we did so far. We added the location to the events. Yes. We changed that from a bool to an error. Yes. We need that in. Um, we clarified that and made sure we had the ID. In this case, we actually built this entire function out. Cool, cool, cool. And this is basically letting errors go through, and we added our whole test case. Which event was this? Fantastic. Oh, gotta get validated. Okay, so we got that implemented. We got that event done. Um, Next time, I suppose, we'll implement the next event, which is probably gonna handle act, revoke. Probably gonna handle all these next time because these should be relatively simple. We just have to delete the check-in. We have to correct, update it, possibly, and then maybe an act and unact thing. So we should be able to get that because this was a bigger one, more complicated. Um, until next time, we will